This is Sky News with Mark Longhurst.
Good evening, and we start with the dramatic events in Northern Ireland tonight. Within the last half hour, Gerry Adams has held a news conference to stress his innocence after 4 days of questioning by police. Less than 60 minutes after being released from police custody, the Sinn Féin leader denied all involvement in any conspiracy to abduct, murder or bury the mother of 10, Jean McConville, who was killed back in 1972. After 4 days of questioning, he offered the police service his full ongoing support, but also warned that there were questions about the timing of his detention. The decision to free him was met with anger as loyalist protesters attempted to block the road outside the police station. We're live to Belfast, where he's just spoken, and to Antrim to get the latest reaction to his release in a moment. But first, Sky's senior news correspondent Ian Woods has tonight's main report.
Free to leave, but unable to get out of the police station where he'd been detained for 4 nights. As word spread that Gerry Adams was to be released from custody, loyalist demonstrators gathered in numbers to try to keep him inside, at least temporarily. Members of the police service of Northern Ireland now had a potential civil disturbance on their hands, as well as a political row over the arrest of the Sinn Féin leader in connection with the murder of Jean McConville. But Mr. Adams was eventually able to leave via another exit and head to Belfast to speak at a news conference.
I am conscious that there is another family at the heart of all of this, and that is the family of Jean McConville. Let me be very clear. I am innocent of any involvement in any conspiracy to abduct, kill or bury Mrs. McConville. I have worked hard with others to have this injustice redressed and for the return of the bodies of others killed during the conflict and secretly buried by the IRA, and I will continue to do so.
Earlier he was allowed a visit from his Sinn Féin colleague Gerry Kelly, a member of the policing board which oversees those who were interrogating his party leader. He was heckled by loyalists who approve of the police action as he addressed the media.
He is being treated well by the custody staff, he looks well, and like myself and other members of Sinn Féin, he believes that this was the timing of this was political.
The protest by Republicans over the arrest of Mr. Adams has led to their partners in Northern Ireland's power-sharing government accusing them of thuggish attempts to blackmail the police. In an aggressively worded statement, First Minister Peter Robinson said, "The police service of Northern Ireland must not be the subject of Republican bully boy tactics. They must be completely free to follow any and all evidence, regardless of where it takes them, and to decide free of political considerations whether suspects will be charged or not." All this against a backdrop of forthcoming European elections, which Sinn Féin say is behind the timing of Mr. Adams' arrest in connection with a murder which happened 4 decades ago.
The rhetoric from both sides always gets ramped up at election time, but there's no mistaking the potentially devastating political consequences of Mr. Adams' arrest. If Sinn Féin were to withdraw their support from policing, then it would almost certainly bring to an end the fragile agreement which has kept Republicans and Democratic Unionists locked together in government.
Although the reason for his arrest was the investigation into the murder of mother of 10, Jean McConville, whose body was hidden for 30 years, Sinn Féin sources suggest that the police have focused on allegations that Mr. Adams was a member of the IRA. That's not a new accusation, but it's one he has consistently denied, despite being such a leading figure in the Republican movement for most of his life. Brendan Hughes, one of those whose testimony has allegedly linked his former friend Mr. Adams to the McConville case, is commemorated on an IRA Roll of Honour. The Divis Flats abduction and murder, like other killings in the Troubles, still shapes the present.
And as the angry scenes outside Antrim police station demonstrated, the issue of how to deal with the allegations of the past will continue to provide obstacles in the future, regardless of whether the Sinn Féin leader is eventually charged. Ian Woods, Sky News, Belfast.